Welcome everybody. Welcome to Streamaholics episode 1. How are we all doing tonight?
Welcome in.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little goofy little intro that I made. It took me like 2 hours to make that. Welcome, Shippy. How are you going, mate?
Very good. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate.
Excellent.
Keen to get in here. A bit touch nervous actually. I had to have a little bit of a sip of a ginger beer on the side here before we get started. Hope we're all doing pretty good. Hope we're all keen to hear about some streaming talk and content creation stuff. Yeah, always keen to get into it. I think maybe actually, do you want to do like a little intro just in case people don't know who we are? Warship.
Yes.
Yes. Who are you? Maybe in sort of like a tweet. Just describe who you are in a tweet.
Oh, okay. Well then, my name's the Warship. I used to be a professional wrestler. I broke my neck, and I've been streaming for the past 11 months. Yeah, that's kind of as much as you get in a tweet, I think. But yeah, that's the basics of it, really. But yeah, essentially, yeah, I've been streaming for 11 months, and it's been really, really great. We've found an amazing community here, and I really, really enjoy it. It's filled the void that I had lost, I had missing with wrestling. So that was all about entertainment, being larger than life, and all that kind of stuff. And now I get to do that here. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, awesome. No, you're definitely larger than life. Hang on, I'm just going to turn this little light down here. A bit harsh. That's better. That's my good side too.
That's better.
So myself, if you don't know who I am, I'm part of the Goa stream team, or the leader is sorry, the alert in my ears just then was just booming. Straight Jacket Jim subscribing just there. Me and him are him and I don't know how to say that probably. Him and I are the stream team leaders, and I used to do streaming. I've been streaming for about 3 years, but the last 12 months has been kind of full on Goa or bust for me. So yeah, I stopped streaming really. I've gone on a streaming hiatus to talk about streaming. So figure that one out.
That's a smart one. That's okay.
Eventually I'll press go live again.
I hope you do.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on the cards. Things in the works at the moment. So I'm glad to have you here, Shippy. I just is that why you go by Shippy or just Ship?
Yeah, Shippy's the easiest one. It's a bit cute, so it's all right.
Yeah, it is a bit cute. I like it. So, Shippy, I'd been trying to come up with this podcast for a little while now and trying to work out what it actually looks like. I think I told you this, but it was when I heard you on the Goa Weekly podcast a few weeks ago and heard you talking about content creation and how that passion has just transferred from wrestling to streaming, and I thought, I think Warship's the guy. He's the guy that I need on this podcast, on this project. So I'm glad to have you here, mate.
Yeah, that's really nice. And honestly, yeah, like I am passionate about it because it's my 9 to 5 now. You know, It's become such an integral part of my life. I have to apologize. I'm a little bit sick today. I seem to have pushed myself beyond the point. But so if my voice is coming out a bit weird, that's why. But yeah, it really, really has become such a central focal point in my life now that I'm super passionate about it, and I always want to talk about it. So yeah,
it's good stuff.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm glad that you I'm very happy to have you here, even though you're a bit under the weather today too, so you're just soldiering on. It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Nothing can bring Shippy down. All right, so the order of events here today, guys, we're going to dive into a few industry stories that we've come across that we thought are interesting, and they want to do a bit of a deep dive on. And at the end of it, we're going to maybe, if we get time, we'll do some viewer questions. So if you've got some questions about streaming or the content creation industry as a whole for us, you want to run across us, definitely wait till the end there and we'll try and pick some out. But we do have some questions from the Legends Club as well to come across at the end, so we'll get to that towards the end of the show. Oh, and obviously can't forget, we've got a huge announcement, but that's coming at the end of the hour, so hold on to your bloody Absolutely. Hold on to your butts. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's excited. Looking forward to that one. I wonder what that is. All right, so we're going to kick it off with a story that's been doing the rounds the last couple of days, to do with a partnership between the streamer Galls from, I believe he's from Brazil, who's partnered up with Budweiser and the NBA to broadcast NBA games live on Twitch and cast them, and talk about what that means for Twitch, and your thoughts on it. For those of you who don't know, I've had to read up on it as well. Galls is a ex-CSGO pro, who has about 2.7 million followers on Twitch. And yeah, he's partnered up to cast some NBA games and bring the NBA to a new audience over here on Twitch. So what are your initial thoughts on that one, Ship?
I mean, straight off the bat, like, you have to think, because we're here, obviously, being in Australia, we don't get a great deal of basketball. We don't get a great deal of American sports in general. So I think that it's going to open a much wider audience as far as that goes. I think that it kind of asks, it prompts a lot of questions when it comes to content creation for other people on the platform as well, and saying, so does that mean that we get to stream sports, and or is it something that you have to do if you're at a certain level? You're allowed to do that, you know? Like, kind of prompts the question: is why can that person do it and I can't? Because, you know, it's about being inclusive, you know. So if one content creator can do one thing, then why can't the rest of us? But I think overall it's really good it kind of opens the door for those questions to be asked, and we haven't had really the opportunity to ask those questions in quite a while. So yeah, I think it's positive.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well, I think it'd be great, just going off that point, I think it'd be great if it does open up down the track, so the ability for people to stream some of that content. If, like, NBA is going to allow some of their content over here, that other people can maybe co-stream it, or even just stream games or react to games with it. Because at the moment there's a lot of people doing reaction stuff without being able to actually put the actual stuff on the screen. So it's a bit of a pain for viewers, but I think to begin with, I thought that maybe I was trying to work out whether the NBA had come to Twitch or they'd come directly to Galls for a specific reason. But I read just earlier today, when I was reading up a bit on a bit more, I think it seems to have come from Budweiser themselves. Apparently recently Budweiser made a deal with the NBA to purchase their content, or some of their content, and the Budweiser was going to, in a unique way, bring the NBA to audiences that don't regularly get the NBA, or bring it to them in forums where the NBA isn't usually available. Therefore, therefore taking the game to the fans rather than people having to go find the NBA. So I'm wondering whether that's part, like, how they've come across Galls and how they've approached him for that. So that might be part of the Budweiser thing.
I think that Twitch is, honestly, when it comes to a lot of content and viewing content, it really is, because it's so immersive and it's so interactive. It's the future of businesses that rely on merchandising. It's the future of businesses that rely on their own subscription-based services, because what it allows you to do is, it's like watching television, except you have the ability to talk to the person who's hosting the show. So it creates this dynamic where, yes, you're watching a service, and yes, that the sport, whatever it may be, and when it comes to normal television, you don't necessarily pay for that. But the difference between Twitch is that at the end of the day, you can have those conversations back with the content creator, and with you know, you get more in depth, and the closer you are and the more attached you are to content, the harder it is to pull away. So I think it's a really smart idea for Budweiser, particularly, as well, to say, well, you know, we'll put our ads everywhere, but it's for the basketball, but we'll put our ads everywhere, so that no matter what happens, you know, everyone's saying, you know, thanks to Budweiser, and that's the whole deal the whole time. So I think it's really, really smart. I think for merchandising and all of that, it makes a lot of sense. And it's all big money. That's what it really is at the end of the day. It's all what's going to make the most money. And I think that opening Twitch up to that forum is great, because that means more money for the content creator as well. So yeah, I think overall it's very, very positive. I just hope that it allows smaller creators and medium-sized creators to really get their teeth into that kind of content as well, because I, for one, would love to stream wrestling. I'd love to stream and give my reactions to wrestling shows, but if I do that, I'm just this. oh wow, that was really cool, guys. You have to go back and see it. Like, that's not engaging. How can I engage with an audience if I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch wrestling, and that's it. Like, there's no, it just doesn't interact in the way it needs to.
Yeah, I think Gauls is gonna have no problems because you get to watch the games on his streams, but for everyone else, it's interesting. I think maybe it might open up with the jumping ahead, the Sports Accelerator program and opening up the sports directory now on Twitch. Maybe that's going to be a huge kickstart for that directory. So I think the smaller creators at the moment are probably going to be scrambling to try and come up with their own shows. Maybe not reaction shows, but if you can get in early and create shows around sports content, knowing that that's kind of a direction that Twitch is heading in, that kind of might carve your own niche out there. Just as a little bit of an aside, but I think it's in terms of viewership and bringing like the NBA, like it's weird to think about as an old guy here on Twitch, but like there's a generation of people out here at the moment, all the young'uns, that the way that they watch content is with a chat box. Like they don't watch content like watch NBA or watch shows like what we used to watch or even still do watch. Everything has a chat box and interaction with the person on the camera. So it's a smart idea if the NBA, if it wasn't a Budweiser thing and Budweiser came to Twitch, whoever did, whether it was Budweiser or the NBA, whosever idea it was, I think is brilliant on their behalf, because they're tapping into an audience that doesn't go and watch other stuff that we used to watch, or watch things in a traditional manner.
Exactly right. I find myself with normal TV doing that though too. I'm watching something on TV and I'm like, "Where's the chat?" This would be a great time to use the chat, but it's not there because it's not the same content. So I get it.
It's weird what content creation does to your brain in real life situations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So it is. I think it's a very interesting space that Twitch is heading, and we all know that Twitch is kind of trying to branch out into other content. This is just one of the steps that they're taking in the sports genre. I think just as a content creator, I think it's time to start thinking about producing shows around other content. You don't have to be a gamer these days on Twitch. Like you can do, and like the just chatting streams that have been taken off over the last couple of years is a prime example of what that Twitch isn't just for gamers anymore.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even for myself, I find that like I can spend easily 6 hours a night completely just doing this. Like there's no need for me to play games. We might do Stream Raiders or Marbles maybe if people really want it, but I would say that more than half of the content that people like more than anything else that I do would be just chatting. I think that if you put it down to a vote, I would say 60% of people would say, hey, just do a just chatting stream. That's all you need. Do the the funny memes, and that's all you need to do, and because we've got so much of that kind of stuff, like, it's definitely not just for gamers anymore. And that leads us to like so many other points as well, like conversation points for later, but people are doing so many crazy things now. And it's not just gaming anymore. I have a redemption on my stream called the Low Energy Streamer, and it's literally just a recording of someone else playing like Counter-Strike or COD or something, and I just put on a pair of sunglasses and I just sit back and I just don't talk to the people at all, because that era of streaming, it exists and it has a place, but boy oh boy can you tell the difference between that and a stream that's engaging. It's so different.
Yeah, for sure. That's like the that's your Shrouds and your Dr. Lupos and the guys that got in like at the very beginning. Like they've already made their way doing that, just playing video games and being very good at FPS games, and the audience just comes. But for us trying to make it, we have to come up with something different now. And the those interacting shows are definitely, like, I've noticed it in my own streams when I used to do it, like and even just on the Goa, like last Friday night on Goa, I just sat here and talked for 3 hours. I'd put the challenge out that I didn't even have a plan. Like I got off work and came in and pressed live, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just talk about some stuff. And then the longer it went on, I'm like, the challenge is that I'm not going to play video games tonight. So let's just keep talking. Yeah. We ended up spending an hour and a half playing, me teaching people about the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and playing that game. So that was it was a good night. I had some good feedback from people just saying like, oh, that was actually brilliant. Like just sitting there chatting and so it's brilliant. I don't know how we got onto that, but Yeah, basketball's coming to Twitch.
Yeah, that was the point we started with.
Yeah. Menthonzo in chat is actually calling out for your the ex-wrestlers talking about wrestling show. Giving us a behind-the-scenes look.
Oh yeah, here's the preview. Everything hurts always.
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about how it's fake and how it doesn't hurt, but everything hurts always and forever. But no, I'd love to be able to do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun to be able to engage with it on the screen, mind you, so that people can see what I'm reacting to.
Yep.
That would be a huge thing, I think, and it'd be a lot of fun to do as well. But at the same time, there are so many rules and there are so many restrictions, and then you have not only do you have the visual restrictions, but because independent wrestling uses a lot of like just whatever music they want, not only do you have the audio, the visual, but like it all mixes together, and all of a sudden you're getting copyright strikes.
Yeah.
Even though you might even own the footage itself, but because somebody used a song from the 90s as their entrance music, all of a sudden now I can't, there's a copyright strike against the stream. And then there are so many different things you have to take into account when you're doing something like that, so having the freedom to actually just be able to do it would be huge. Absolutely. Yeah,
would be. Hopefully down the track, this kind of, if the NBA thing and the goals thing works out, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way, because I don't know who goals is, but it's either goals or Gowlers. I don't know. I think it's goals. But yeah, it'd be great if it works out for the NBA and other sort of entities from other sports and other backgrounds start looking at it as a thing and start diving into the Twitch thing. So, I mean, it won't affect people that like watching gaming streams, like, because they're still going to watch gaming streams. But as an overall thing, if it brings more revenue to the platform, it makes the platform more viable long term. So, I'm up for it as a next Mixer refugee. You never know what's going to happen to the platform you're producing content on. So, more revenue, the better.
Absolutely. And like I said before, I think that it makes sense when it comes to sports particularly. I think it really makes sense because it's a direct line. It really is, not only from the audience to the streamer, but from the audience to the product. Because if you're able to integrate things like the Twitch chat into a game of football, maybe where you've got all the screens that go around the arena, you've got chat going on in there, there's so much you could do with it. And like I said before, the more you entrap like people in what the thing you're doing is, the harder it is to break away. So the more interested they are, the more invested, the more a part of it they are, the harder it is for them not to want to be there. So I think it makes a lot of sense for sports particularly, to open it up for everyone. Why wouldn't you? What's the difference? What do you care if someone else is streaming it? Like, obviously there's TV deals and there's all that kind of stuff as well, but I don't think it would hurt that much, at the end of the day. I really, really don't.
Nah, hopefully that's kind of where they're heading. It'll be really, really good. I'm trying to work out how I can get 2.7 million followers so I can stream some AFL games for the AFL if they want to. AFL and MU Export wants to give me a shout out.
If you figure out a way to get 2.7 million, I'm definitely in for it.
If I get 2.7 million, I might just do sleeping streams like some people do. All right, so
it is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy with some of the content. We'll talk about that a bit later. So next one I've got is the OBS update. I believe it's 27.0, the new update. So what's that all about, Shibby?
So this is huge. Like, is anyone who uses OBS as opposed to Streamlabs OBS, it is a major difference. There's only really, for me, there are a whole bunch of points, but there's only really 2 points that are above and beyond like the best points for it. Point number one is the undo redo, because OBS doesn't have undo redo. It didn't up until this point. And you drag something with OBS, and then you sit there and you go, that's in the wrong spot entirely, drag it back. Hey, Exodus is here, hello. But yeah, like it was a matter of with OBS is you just had to kind of get back to where it was and drag it where it's supposed to be and hope for the best. And it would never show up the same. Like you could put it in there perfectly and you wouldn't be able to go back. So that's a really, really big feature. There's also a whole bunch of stuff as it relates to source transitions. So I know for me, I do a lot of like meme-based content, and it's just little things that pop up on the screen, like little things like that just come up and disappear again. But the ability now to be able to do proper transitions where, you know, it'll fade in and fade out, or slide in and slide out. Pretty much any of the transitions that come with OBS, that's huge. It allows for so much more professional looking stuff, especially if you're using a program like Touch Portal, or the Oran board, or you know, any of these ones that kind of give you the extra ability to share the content that you want to share and make the funny stuff on there. Even just a Stream Deck itself, you know, there are so many things that you can do now that you couldn't do, basically just with those 2 points, if outside of anything else. And then there's a lot of other little like basic quality of life things as well. It's just a really good step in the right direction. Everyone always complains to me all the time. They're like, Streamlabs is so much easier. Streamlabs is so much easier. You can do so much with it, and it's so quick to do. OBS, obviously, we've had the conversation before that OBS, it's better on resources for the computer. Yeah, sure. But now it's getting to be better for the ease of use, and I think that's a big step in the right direction for it. So absolutely, it's been one of those things that's, it's been really, really hard to justify for a lot of people to move from Streamlabs into OBS, but I think now we're slowly getting to the point where it makes a lot more sense. So yeah, no, for sure. Like I just in setting up these scenes for the Streamaholics show here in the last few nights, I am trying to use OBS and will be using that down the future. When I was trying to make something really, really quickly, I went in there and I did the thing where I needed to undo. Oh, it doesn't have it because I'm used to using Streamlabs. And so I gave up and went back to Streamlabs. I'm like, I just need to do this quickly. I'm going back to Streamlabs. Yeah. So that redo and undo button is like, yeah, that's a huge game changer for someone like myself that's going to try and create like a heap of scenes. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt if I had to try and work out where something was. And yeah, undo, redo is, yeah, that's just a godsend for someone who's going to try and switch over. There were so many little bugs that were fixed as well. Like, there were so many problems. A lot of the time, it was just basic stuff. Is you'd sit there with OBS and you're like, oh, but it's better and it's quicker. But then you get frustrated because something just wouldn't work. You know, like you'd be, oh, how come I can't do this? I could do that in Streamlabs. Why can't I do that here? And it's slowly but surely the features are starting to move across. And a lot of the time, we've had to use plugins for it. But slowly but surely, those plugins are being replaced with actual things. You know, like for example, what I'm using here is Virtual Cam. Now that is directly linked to my OBS, which is why I can do the funny things at the same time, because it's not actually my camera that you're seeing, it's an OBS plugin. That used to be a straight up plugin, but now in the like later versions of OBS, it's just there. So like there's a lot of positive coming out, and I think it's going to be a really good time for a lot of people who aren't quite sure if they're going to make the jump. I think now's the time to really start to get in.
Yeah, sweet. That's actually answered one of my questions I was going to ask you after stream, was how you got your little meme things to pop up on your camera, because that's something I'm going to have to look into. That's great. The transitions for the sources, that's going to be really cool. And the other one was that I found interesting was the transitions where you can have both of your scenes showing at the same time as a stinger comes through.
Yes, yeah,
that seems pretty cool. We'll make some of those stinger it'll open it up to more transitions that you can use.
Well, it's going to be a whole lot less of people going, and I'll be right back, and then it's like a block change. You know, it's like straight to like a change. Yeah. It'll be a whole lot less of that. It'll be a whole lot less of I'll be right back, and then we fade into something nice, and it transitions across to something different. It's all just making it more professional. People always say it's like watching a movie when I watch you stream, because you just push buttons and stuff just happens. It looks like you've planned it. It looks like you've prepared it, and I haven't. It's just me just doing like things seamlessly on the fly, and that thankfully that's kind of what this is going to allow for as well. So
yeah, no, it seems really, really cool. I'm actually really, really looking forward to starting to get creative in there and start making some scenes myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's real good. I think it's real good for the future of streaming. And because the thing about streaming is that everyone wants it to be easy and everyone wants to be able to get in and do it. And being able to give people the facility to make it a little bit easier is only going to be beneficial to everyone in the end. So yeah,
no, for sure. Did I touch on what the Sports Accelerator program was just a second ago? We did talk about that pre-stream, but I don't know if
we talked about it, but we didn't really talk about what it meant for people who weren't listening to what we said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So the Sports Accelerator program, with the Twitch is trying to open up the new sports category, and so part of the way that they're trying to boost that category to begin with, which they've done in the past with other new categories, is they've opened up an application process where you can apply to be in the program and earn money like immediately. They're saying $150 US per month minimum to begin with if you can be accepted into the program. And all you have to do is be an affiliate. I'm not sure if the cutoff has been and gone already. This was probably a week or two ago, but all you had to do was be an affiliate, and you had to keep up your application once accepted was to do 20 hours a month in the sports category, and you couldn't stream actual sports that were copyrighted and came under those laws. You couldn't do gaming. You couldn't just play like FIFA or something like that for 20 hours a month. You had to actually come up with programs like a podcast or something like this. Reaction shows, whatever you can come up with that's based around sports that fits in that category. You could do that, but it had to be 20 hours a month. You could do other things. You could stream 40 hours a month and play video games for the other 20, but you had to do at least minimum 20 in the sports program. So that was just a fun, a cool little thing to kickstart that directory. And I think the goals thing also helps that directory out too. So they're going big into sports at the moment.
I think it's the thing that I've seen about it, because I've had a bit of a read up since, but I think that's really interesting is that it's sort of one of the first things that is aimed at smaller streamers, because one of the points that I've noticed on here is that partners are unable to take part in it. So if you're a partner, you can't actually apply for it. It's only for people who are like smaller streamers who are wanting to build an audience.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's really interesting, because that's a step in the right direction in a huge way. Twitch is notorious for caring once you hit a certain point. They are absolutely notorious for it on that upper shelf. Still being able to say that they support, the smaller streamers at the same time. And I think that stuff like this really shows that, yes, they can support the smaller streamers at the same time as well. So I think that's really, really good. I think it's really, really important. And I think if in general, as long as, like I said before, as long as you have a facility that will allow the smaller streamers to kind of approach what these bigger streamers are going to be doing, I think it's really, really good. But then, to hear stories from people who tell us that they're not able to get in there, and it's simply just because it's a no. I mean, a little bit more visibility would be nice, just to find out as to why. That's the fact in itself. Is it a sport related thing, for Gamma, for example? Is it because it was wrestling? Is that the deal? Because that seems a bit rough as well. So I would really like to know what their criteria actually is for approvals. Just so I could see it, just so I understand it. I think overall though, it's a good move in the right direction as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. It did mention wrestling in the literature that I read on it. Literature, how old am I? But yeah, so it did include things like wrestling but it would be nice to know, exactly where you headed and where you went wrong. Like was he far off it? What are they actually wanting? What's their criteria, so you can change things up if you want to still stick there? Because if they don't give people any sort of feedback on why there was a no, like someone like Gamma who was keen to do 20 hours in the sports directory might go, oh well, I just got it's a no, I'll go back to what I was doing before. At least give him something.
It's really demotivating when you're told no for no reason in any industry, no matter what it is you're doing. As someone who streams at a sort of the mid-range, I guess, viewership a lot of the time, I find that sending out hundreds and hundreds of emails a week, which I do, to sponsors and brands and all that kind of stuff, and hearing nothing back, that's disheartening as all hell. And it works the same here. It works the same when it comes to Twitch, because really, at the end of the day, you really want to be able to liaise with people who will give you the right information, tell you what you need to do to improve, tell you how to get to the point that you want to be at. You don't want to hear, oh yeah, just thanks for applying. You don't want that. You want proper transparency so that you know what it means and you know how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
because otherwise you're just swimming in this lake of being told no all the time.
Yeah.
And that extends to everything. That extends to like jobs. That extends to everything in the world. Like partners, life, whatever it is. If you get told constantly, sooner or later you just get frustrated.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me as a person? Why don't you want me? Why don't you like me? And that the phrasing there goes across every single thing I just mentioned. In every instance, you can tie that back to that. And I think that doesn't really propagate a positive mindset when it comes to that person's future in streaming.
Yeah. And do you think that they would be more switched on to that, giving like the gaming community, like we're all a bunch of outcasts out here in the gaming community as it is. Like we've already had to go find, like that's a lot the thinking of a lot of gamers, like, and gaming was shunned upon not that long ago. Mm-hmm. It's like being a wrestling fan or a comic book fan or whatever. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, but we're used to getting told no, but we'd like to know why, and so we can try and fix things, like you said. Being more what's the word for it? Being more sensitive to people.
I think that's important as well. I think that wrestling, as like with gaming and comic books and all that kind of stuff, it breeds a certain amount of introversy. Like people tend to be fairly introverted, and a lot of people coming out of their shell is turning on the camera and hello everybody. A lot of that is the biggest step. A lot of that is the hardest part, and it really, really is. And a lot of people just being able to get there and do that's hard enough, and then to be told, but for no reason, no, that sucks. Like that really does. I think that transparency is probably the biggest issue when it comes to this, because like I said, it would be great for those people to get the answers as to why not, as to why not when it comes to your content. Who cares what you're doing on there for your content? You're not showing the footage, you're not hurting anyone. You don't deserve the money just because you don't fit some arbitrary rule, even though you're not going to tell me what that rule is. Like that's rough to me personally.
Yeah, exactly. Gamma said is in chat here that these emails said it's not a hard no, just a no for now, and we will revisit in a few months. It's like that's not good enough. That's like half-assed answer just to try and keep him on the line. Yeah,
exactly right. And then to see the opposition here, if there's thousands of people that apply, maybe they don't physically have the time to do it, then I have to question, why do it? If you can't give a reasonable answer to everyone, why do it? So there are certain people that deserve an answer, but some don't because we don't have time for it. I mean, that to me seems like a poor practice. That's just my personal side of things. I would love to see a situation where everyone gets an answer, even if it's a pre-generated answer saying, hey, you have only X amount of viewers a stream on average. We kind of want you to have this amount. Yeah. If you've got this amount, you get in. If they just gave that transparency, whole different story. Yeah, not having that at all, that kind of stinks. Yeah,
they probably had in mind like an idea of the type of creator they wanted to begin with, or at least like a minimum following. I feel like they would have had some sort of a rough idea.
Yeah. And look, if you don't fit into that following, like say, for example, there's like, you must have 50 people watching, and say you only get like 30, like every stream on average, and you see that, and you go, no, I really want it anyway. Then you apply anyway, and you say, hey, listen here, I still want this. I know I don't fit this criteria, but give me a chance, and we'll see how we go. That's you exerting to the fullest that you can possibly do. That's you trying the best you can do, and really, really pushing for it. But if you don't fit the criteria, at least you know why. At least you know why, because you've been told at the very start. I think not knowing it all is the hard part there. So
yeah, I think it's good that they're starting up these other directories. It goes back to the talk about goals, but yeah, it's the accelerator program. Not sure. I kind of thought it was going to be easier for people to get into, but maybe not. Maybe they knew beforehand. But sports directory as a whole, I think is great. Like we were talking about, just chatting streams and making podcasts and talk shows like this. I think it's and interactive shows. Like I think that's the way to go. I think if you're looking to get into content creation now, having a unique idea for some sort of a show, I think is definitely a way to go.
Absolutely. And speaking of unique ideas for shows, that probably leads into the other point you were about to make anyway.
Is this the hot tub?
Yeah, I mean it does, but that leads into a lot of stuff as well. You know, that leads into the sleeping streams and all that kind of stuff that we were talking about too. So
yeah, it's I mean, it's just I don't know, just I get a giggle out of like the types of streams that get like a big viewership, and like Shippy says, this moves into the next point. I just came across a story today on Kotaku actually about the Minecraft streamer George Not Found, who did I think he can claim to be the most popular hot tub streamer in the world now. He peaked at 400,000 concurrent viewers at one point during his stream the other day. And in the story it describes him sitting in, I saw a photo of it, but he's sitting in this like I don't know what it is, but it's a makeshift hot tub that's only about just as wide enough for him to sit in it. It'd probably be just as wide to go around like a gaming chair, and it's
looks like a kiddie pool.
Yeah, like a little tiny kiddie pool. And apparently he had a hose running through to the bathroom or somewhere in the back there that he must have been filling it up with. He had a spin wheel where he had some challenges on there. And when he eventually jumped in, apparently he spun the wheel and got a costume change, so he had to come back wearing a taco suit and then jumps back in again. At one point he was pouring cokes into the pool, and then he was cracking eggs on his own head, and that was going into the pool too. But this is the most amazing part of that entire thing, is that at the peak or somewhere around the peak, when he had quite a lot of number of viewers in there, he launched a new merch store in front of everyone, selling new hoodies and other merch. Like that's the brilliant part about it.
Absolutely, so smart.
Yeah,
like you go in there, you have this ridiculous idea, and that's great. You know, having a stupid idea like that, I'm all for that. I think that's an excellent thing to do. And then dropping a merch store in the middle of that, like a new line of merch, is just incredible. Because you think even if at half the amount there, even at 200,000 people in there, there's got to be at least 10,000 people buying that merch. You know, if you buy the numbers itself, there's got to be at least that. And straight away, profit. You know, you for wearing a taco suit in a kiddie pool and cracking eggs on your head, you're talking a lot of money for that, for the amount of time. Like that's just absolutely fantastic. But it's crazy to think what people get away with doing on Twitch. I watch a few people, and one of them, I've never seen him stream. All I've ever seen is a cartoon of him sleeping, and then stream raiders pop up, and then goes back to a cartoon of him sleeping. And really? I've never heard his voice. I've never seen anything. And at this point in time, he has 200 people in his stream. Like at this exact moment. And that's literally all I've ever seen him do. So yeah, it's crazy to think about what people do. And then you think about people like myself and, you know, people like Pod, for example, who's in the chat here as well, who really, really go out of their way to go above and beyond with the content. Really, you know, to have the funny stuff happen on screen and have the redemptions and all that kind of stuff going on. And you think about that and all the effort, and then it's just some guy with a cartoon that isn't even a cartoon, it's a picture that wobbles.
Right.
And got 5 times the amount of viewership straight off the bat. Like, yeah, absolutely incredible.
It's crazy, but like I said, it makes me giggle when I like seeing all the different stuff that people come up with trying to get noticed. It's good seeing the creativity come out, even though it's not even like that creative. It's just like you said, you're coming up with all this elaborate stuff, and then someone just is a cartoon. Or like it's like the parody hot tub streams, like the amount of parody hot tub streams that are going on at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. Like I go into my Twitch thing, and my algorithm must be broken or something, because all there is on the recommended channel is just hot tub streams. I don't know what it is about it.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Well, it's because broken. You've probably looked at a whole bunch of them.
That's not it. It's definitely not it.
No, but it's honestly everywhere at the moment. If I look at mine, thankfully I don't really follow very many in the way of people who do that. And then if I go to my, I never go to my homepage. Whoever goes to their homepage anymore? I don't. I go straight to my own page, and then I look for people on there. Unless I'm actually going to specifically raid into someone new or whatever, I never do. So, it doesn't really show up for me as much, but I've definitely seen a lot of them, and I've seen a lot of the controversy around them as well. And I think, man, it's so undeserved. Do what you want. This is the thing, is that Twitch isn't just gaming now. You need to get it out of your heads. You need to stop like gatekeeping the whole thing because it's not gaming. And I think that's happening a lot at the moment. Is there's a whole bunch of gatekeeping, and people are just getting mad because these people are coming in wearing practically nothing and getting a whole bunch of views, and then they're sitting there doing like me, grinding real hard and not really seeing the stuff that we want to see. You know, we get really good, and we're growing and growing and growing, but then you look at that compared to someone who literally just puts on a very small outfit and gets in a hot tub, and then all of a sudden 11 billion views later. I understand the frustration, but at the same time, you've got to respect the hustle as well. You know, like you've got to say, yeah, all right, cool. They did a really smart thing here, and it's paying off for them. So great, you know. Like, yeah. I can't judge that.
Yeah, I definitely don't judge. I don't mind hot tub streams. I don't mind any of these other different creative things that people are doing. Like, a viewer's preference or a viewer's taste is a viewer's taste. Like, if you're not their taste, then they're not. You don't want them in your audience anyway. If that's what they like watching, like, just leave them to their own thing. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's audience out there for you too. You just got to go find them. You got to find that.
With 15 million people on the platform, someone's going to be to your taste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's like, you're not going to be able to please everybody either. You know, like, so not only is it goes both ways. Is that you might not be someone's taste, but you might also not have. You might not want to change who you are to suit that taste either. So.
Jugs has just said that they heard that it was against terms of service, but I think they get away with it because they were by water, wearing a bikini, which is actually a swimsuit. So it's, you know, that's how they got away with it.
Well, the terms of service has changed so much recently. I remember when I first started about 11 months ago, you weren't allowed to be shirtless as a man on stream. But now you are, because they updated the terms of service a couple of months ago to allow for that.
Okay. I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point there where it was like no nipples showing, and now it's fine. I mean, just maybe not yet, but later.
It's not 9 p.m. yet.
Exactly right. Yeah. But no, like I think that it's hard to know the rules. Again, back to the rules, back to what we were saying before, transparency. You know, people getting banned for taking their shirt off, like, because they didn't know the difference. You know, like, just knowing a little bit more would make things so much easier, honestly.
Yeah. What's the point I was just going to make about that? I just lost it. Just right then, just a very second ago. No, it's gone.
Actually, Pod's brought up a question here as well.
Go with what Pod said.
Saying Twitch is a 13 plus platform, so someone putting borderline adult content for minors and soliciting money appropriate for the platform. Surely that should be limited to an 18 plus section or OnlyFans. Well, as far as I'm aware, you have to be set as a mature stream if you're going to be doing these hot tub streams. And if you're not, you really, really should be. That's the example where they get banned for me. Yeah. If they're not 18 plus on the description. And you're not fully aware that this is a semi-naked human being asking you for money, then ban. But I think if you set all the right guidelines to begin with, then I think it's okay.
And the OnlyFans point, I think from a lot of the girls that are doing the hot tub streams, I think they're using Twitch as kind of like a soft advertisement for their OnlyFans and turning it into revenue over there as well. A lot of people do it. Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of people, even people who stream at my level, I've seen do it quite frequently, because that's where the revenue opens up for them. That's where they see their success, and they might not necessarily get that same success on Twitch, but then when it transfers over to OnlyFans or whatever the case may be, that's where they really make their money there. Yeah. It's kind of like someone like myself, like transitioning to YouTube for content, is because it would get to a point, if YouTube ended up being successful, it would get to a point where YouTube would be making the bulk of the money and Twitch would be the ancillary stuff. And I think that works the same way when it comes to OnlyFans. Because it's not a matter of your viewership, it's a matter of your subscription. It's not a matter of you being here, it's a matter of how much money you want to give. So I think, and that goes down to like the YouTube point of, you know, I might not have 1,000 viewers in my stream at any time, but I've got 1,000 views on a video. And that adds a little bit of a different dimension than I think strict just Twitch people kind of get to live in. So the fact that they can go to the OnlyFans and they can buy the content whenever they want and they can spend the money they want, that's completely separate again. And I think that's where a lot of these people kind of funnel, because then they can say, well, you want to see more explicit stuff, come here. You want to interact with me directly and pay me money directly, come here. And then all I have to do is put photos up. Like I don't even have to be on camera.
That's true.
I think that's the transitional point there as well.
Oh well, good on them. Go make your cash. The only thing I was worried about was that it was, and I think they've kind of fixed that now. It was something that I was going to touch on, but it's kind of, I think they're starting to head down a better route. And what I'm talking about is, I was worried that it was going to affect like ad revenue from companies wanting to invest in streams, because Twitch is already having a hard enough time as it is trying to work out how to capitalize on the ad revenue. But it seems to be that they've now moved into an area like what YouTube did originally, where they've kind of made it so you're in the 3 different levels. You're in the green, amber, and red levels in terms of advertising. So if you're doing hot tub streams or doing like that, you might find yourself in a red or an amber level and then not have any ad revenue. And then therefore it's more appealing to advertisers. They know that our ads aren't just going to everybody. We can just say, we only want our ads to go to people that are in the green level.
Exactly right. Then you can tailor it as well. Like you can tailor the streams, so the hot tub streams get the less family friendly advertisements as well. So it all works together, and hopefully there's a bit of synergy with it. So like I said, get their bag if they want to. Go spend the money, and it's not hurting anyone. It certainly doesn't hurt anyone at my level here, with what I'm doing on Twitch. It certainly doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anyone from me and below, because honestly speaking, they're not going to be coming into the stream anyway. If they're here to be the horn dog, they're going to be going to the horn dog streams. That's just the reality of the situation. So it doesn't hurt either way. That's my perspective anyway. Until it starts to actually take from what we're doing, then it's a different story. But I think for now, it's not hurting anyone.
With you there. Okay, so next up we're going to go through to questions from the Discord. So we put it out as we always do. We put it out to the Goa Legends Club members on Discord if they had any questions for us on the show, and Hope's come back with this question here which we wanted to dive into if we've got enough time here, hopefully. Hope says, so I enjoy streaming, but I also have accepted that growing an audience on Twitch isn't exactly viable. Everyone tells me to go build an audience elsewhere first, but I don't see that as any easier, and frankly tried for years anyway. What advice would you guys give? Shippy, as someone who's only been on the platform for about 9 months, I think you probably have some good perspective here on that. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah.
Where would you...
Absolutely. For me, I firmly disagree. But it's only because I didn't come from anything. So the thing is that when I started streaming, and I've looked at my analytics, I've shared them as well with people here, is that when I started streaming on a C922, which is actually still here. I don't use it anymore. But I started streaming on this Logitech camera. I got a bit of a loan out for a computer, and I could play Minecraft, and I'm like, that's all I can do. I also went and I got myself overlays, and I also, I paid attention to all the little things to begin with. And when I started streaming, I didn't stream without a mic or without a camera to begin with. I had a pretty good microphone. I made sure that everything I did was of a certain level before I even started. I refused to go. Really, really just willy-nilly in, and it really made a big difference. It really, really did. And I'm not saying I did it the right way or the only way to do it or anything like that at all. But when I started, there was not much, there was no one there, right? For the first week, there was no one there. And then after the first week, there was 5 people there. And then after the second week, there was 20 people there. And I didn't do anything external. I posted on Instagram, I posted on Twitter, I posted on Facebook, and that was it. I didn't even have a Discord at that point. I got a Discord after about a month because I got really stressed out because everyone else had a Discord. But I didn't post anywhere. All I did was come on, turn on the camera, and then I was me. And I'm naturally entertaining, as I'm told. I've got that. But honestly, all I did, I was the saddest boy ever. If you ever go back and watch those first couple of VODs, I was a sad little emo kid. I was so depressed. I just come off of my neck surgery. I was in a really bad way mentally. But there was something about the way that I connected with the audience. And I guess that was enough to keep people coming back. And the thing is that I don't believe that you need to get external support to grow. I don't believe that you need to go to to go to TikTok or whatever the case may be to grow your audience. At least not to the point where I am now. Maybe from the point I am now to the next level, maybe probably absolutely. And I think to get to where I am now, to that sort of 50 to 70 to 80 to 90 viewers a stream, I think that you can really do that just by being you on the platform. I live by a couple of credos in the stream. So a couple of credos that I live by, number one is be the person in the chat that you want to see in your chat. So whenever I visit, because I visit a lot, at the moment, I have 6 tabs open across 3 different browsers because I lurk, I support my friends. So, but when I go into those chats, I don't just go ! Lurk. I go in there and I'm like, hey, going man, how's your stream doing? What's going on? How's your day? I really interact because I know that later on when they come over to my stream, hopefully they'll do the same thing. Hopefully they'll start a conversation. So that was always rule number one, was being that person that would have an interaction with the people on the channel and really make them feel as important as I felt, when people came in and spoke to me. And the second one is that there's no place for ego in streaming. I'm a really, really firm believer in this. I'm a really firm believer in the fact that if we all work together, we can all win. I don't think there's any goddamn need at all to try to burn other channels just for the sake of your own personal growth. And I've never believed in that. So I really, those are my two things. And I think that if you present a good product and you are personable and you are having fun, and you don't try to hurt anyone else, you'll grow. That's kind of my perspective. And if you're having trouble growing, then maybe it's not everything else's problem. Maybe it's something that you need to adjust about what you're doing. Maybe it's the game, because I see stubborn people all the time playing the same shooter or playing the same top-down RPG, and they know that nobody's going to be watching, but they do it anyway. And it's like the gun meme, the boom. Oh no, why is he dead? It's like that, because it's like what you're doing and you know what doesn't work, so change it. If you don't change it, you're never going to see change in what you're doing. You know what I mean? And that being said, there is a point to say, well, play the things you like as well and enjoy what you do. And it's okay. Like the hashtag says, it's okay just to play. It really, really is. It really, really is. And don't get me wrong, but if you're aiming to grow on Twitch, then you might need to take a look at the content you're pushing. If you're delivering content that nobody watches, try a different thing. Get out of your own comfort zone and enjoy something different, because, you don't just have to enjoy one thing. And that's my personal preference and my opinion on it, absolutely, is I don't like scary games, but I played Alien Isolation on stream. I don't like scary games that much, but, I did it, and I've done stuff like that as well. We're playing Little Nightmares at the moment, and it's been fantastic. But, it's not me low energy streaming, sitting in front of a screen, not interacting with my chat, playing the same game I've been playing for years and years and years. It's me getting out of the comfort zone, freaking out, being big about it, being energetic, in letting myself be scared, letting myself feel something, because that's what people want to see. They want to see you. They want to see that. They want to see the humanity in you as well. They don't want to see a robot playing games. If they wanted to do that, they'd watch the demo of a bloody disc, they want to see the person.
Yeah.
And that's my personal opinion. I know it's a bit of a rant, and hopefully we don't make it a regular Shippy's going to be ranting at the end of a stream. We can have a segment. We can have just rants.
Yeah, Shippy rant segment. So firstly on that point, sorry, if you got more of the rants, I'm drinking it all in, mate.
I'll have a drink too.
Firstly, I think scary games, just on an offside, scary games should exclusively be played by people who don't like scary games. That's my first point.
Yes.
Secondly, I think you've shown in just your little short career how how building or focusing on community and networking through a community and supporting each other is a way to actually grow. That's actually a tactic to growing. Like you're doing it, so you're showing people out there that's and the other thing that I think is encouraging too about seeing you in 9 months get to where you are at the moment, and it's just the beginning, we all know that, but is that I probably myself personally, when I was on Facebook and I've switched over to Mixer at the wrong time, I was doing quite well on Facebook at the time and thought that I could just take that audience with me and go to Mixer because Mixer seems like a better platform, but didn't work out. Didn't quite get the same rise on Mixer as I had before, and then Mixer like shit the tin and closed the doors. So I was left wondering like, oh man, like I've got to go over to Twitch where I was trying to avoid in the first place because of how oversaturated it is, and how am I going to make it? And this is like, 14, 15 months ago. And in the meantime, because I didn't do it, someone like yourself's come along only 9 months ago and shown that it can still be done. So I think that's extremely encouraging for anybody out there who's still thinking about trying to make a go on Twitch now at the moment. But heading back to Hope's point, the first thing that sort of jumped out at me from Hope's comment is, so I enjoy streaming. And right there is like, first off, I'd like to ask like, what do you want to get out of streaming? Like, is it something that you want to make into a career, or is it like a hobby that you just want to build on? Because if it's just a hobby that you want to build on, then just continue enjoying streaming. That would be my first point. And even if you want to make it into a career, that's a good place to start and then build on that as well. Like, you can build a YouTube off of that. You can build a podcast off of that. But if your absolute passion in all of this is that you enjoy streaming, then start with that. Enjoy streaming and just do it. Keep doing it, and then look to other things to build off the side of it.
Absolutely. Like, if you enjoy it, that should be the first point of call, really. Like, I guess I skipped over, because of the way my brain works, I skipped over the point where it might just be a matter that Hope enjoys it. And if that's the case, then amazing. Continue doing. Do you need to grow? That's the other question as well. And this goes in with the hashtag from Goa and everything. Like, if you don't need to grow and you enjoy streaming, keep doing it. And, people will come. Like, that's the other thing as well, is if you don't have a specific timeline that you're trying to hit, and you're not like trying to get to a certain point at a certain point, you can grow just by enjoying what you do. People see the difference in a stream when you don't enjoy the stream. Like, for me, if I'm playing a game that I hate, if I'm playing like a strictly Jackbox after a month of playing Jackbox, I detest it after that point. And you can see it, and that doesn't breed a healthy environment. And you want people to come in every stream and you're like, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day today. Like, you really want to be able to show that you're actually having a good time. Oh, that's a really good thing that's just popped up in the questions, by the way. A really, really good one. Yeah.
Go on.
Everything.
Go on, Shippy.
How much weight do you put on keeping a schedule or streaming for a certain amount of hours a week for growth? It's everything. It is absolutely everything. There are people that I know in my streams who say, if you're not there streaming, I can't sleep. If you're not there streaming, I'm having bad thoughts. If you're not streaming, you're how I start the day. I can't have a coffee without watching the Warship. So if for nothing else, then the people who dedicate their time, their money, everything to watching what you do it for them. Outside of anything else at all, very first point, if there are people who you are saving, do it for them. If there are people who you are just making their day a little bit brighter, do it for them. If you keep a schedule every time, no matter what time of the day or night it is, they will know that they can find you at that time. It's like, okay, cool. It's only X amount of hours until Shippy streams. Oh no, he doesn't stream on the weekend. That's okay. I'll go do something else, whatever the case may be. But if you want consistent return viewers, you have to maintain a consistent return schedule. Like, there's no two ways about it. You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to turn on the stream now. Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome me. Oh no, where is everybody? That's what will happen. Like, until you're at a point where you're hitting like these ridiculous levels on stream where you can just turn it on whenever you want and people will be there. Until you're doing that, like, keeping a consistent stream schedule is the number one. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely the number one.
definitely. That's the first thing we worked on in the mentorship program as part of Legends Club was nailing down schedules. Because you got to look at it like it's not a VOD, it's not a platform that's geared towards VODs. Like people don't come to Twitch to watch VODs, so it's not like a YouTube, but so it's a live streaming platform. You want to go there for the interaction for starters. Yep. But it's like if you want to build a following, like, you know, Friends, for example, in the 90s didn't take off because they just put it on randomly whenever they felt like putting an episode on some in the middle of the day, and then one at midnight, and then next week they decided to put an episode on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and like it just doesn't work. Like you're not going to get an audience if they don't know when you're going to be. And the same as we used to watch TV shows, the streaming services now are obviously a lot different, but that's different content. Now it's like that sort of stuff, like your TV shows you can watch whenever now. You don't need a schedule, but with live streaming, it's back with the old mentality. People want to know what time to put it in their calendar or what time they have to get dinner out of the way to put the stream on, because that's what they enjoy consuming. That's how they enjoy consume content. So yeah,
absolutely,
number one.
No, yeah, it is the biggest thing. I would never. If anyone said, "Oh, I'm just going to stream whenever," the first thing I would do is stop that, because, like, for me, it's if you don't have a consistent schedule, one, they're not going to know when you're there. Two, you're not going to know when you're there. One of the most important things, if you're trying to approach Twitch as a career, as a profession, you have to treat it like you're getting up for work. So, like, for me, I have my work schedule, which is, 9 till Sunday till Thursday. And I know that, at 9:30, I'm ready to go, bang, we get in, we go, until whenever. And then, and that's my schedule. I know that as long as I'm running that time every day, that people will be there when I get there, because they'll be waiting, Yeah, I couldn't imagine not running with a schedule at this point. I think that is the number one killer for small streamers first starting out, is that they don't maintain a schedule. And then they wonder why they have no one there, particularly pre-affiliates, like particularly people who aren't at the affiliate level yet. And when they get on and they sit at like the 2 to 3 people watching the stream, until someone goes, "Oh shit, such and such is on, let's go." Until that moment happens. I think that's super, super important. Like, you really, really need to have a dedicated time.
Yeah. If you don't have a streaming schedule, have fun enjoying streaming, because that's about all it is at that point. You've got to enjoy your streaming, but not building a community or anything like that, or building regular viewership or return viewership. The other part of Natty's point there too, I'd like to touch on it. Kind of, I think it applies to. I probably have a different take on it to a lot of people. I think maybe streaming for a certain amount of hours a week for growth. I think if you've got the hours, then streaming lots is good, as long as you're just keeping to that schedule. But the more often that you're on, obviously the more chance you got of picking up viewers. For someone like myself who has a lot going on outside of content creation, but I absolutely love it, and I absolutely want to get back to the point where I was at one point, I only have maybe 2 nights or 3 nights for a couple of hours to do, and that's absolutely doable. I was doing it quite well on Facebook and on Mixer while I was still going, just with 2 nights a week. And it is about, you definitely need to keep your schedule and be on time for those streams. And that's probably the type of content creator where it probably is worth like investing in doing a podcast or doing a YouTube channel or something on the side as well. If you've got like random hours during the week that aren't consistent, I would say, rather than those random hours on nights where you're not going to stream, just pressing go live randomly that wasn't scheduled, I would say that's when you could probably make a YouTube video or do a podcast or work on some TikToks or whatever, just in random hours. That's what I used to do. So I might have streamed like Monday and Tuesday night every single week at 8 p.m. And any other night of the week, if I had random hours, like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, I finished cleaning up and doing everything at home or doing the books for work. I've got a bit of time now, the missus has gone to bed. Oh, now that's when I can make a TikTok, or that's when I can make my YouTube. Or whatever I'm focusing on as my outside content. But if you've got like every night to stream or every day to stream, then I think that's kind of where Shippy is too. Like you can put that all of your time into Twitch content and streaming, and that is very good for growth then, if you can be consistent.
I think that the golden number is probably 3 to 4 days a week, and I think that as far as hours go, I would say anywhere between 3 and 6. Especially when you're sort of first starting out, I would say that I would recommend for new streamers not to be going any more than 3 hours. I always get people who are coming up and they're first starting, and I go check out their stream, and I'll be in there at like hour 7, and there'll be 3 people in there, and I'll be like, why are you still streaming 7 hours later? And particularly people who are like, I want to grow and this is what I want to do. I think that you have to, especially to begin with, you have to engage an audience for a short amount of time and build anticipation to the next one, short amount of time, and not to burn yourself out too, because there are so many of my friends who get on here and they'll stream for like 10 hours and they'll get really frustrated by the fact that no one was in there, and then they'll quit. And it's because they didn't take the time to just, don't burn yourself out. Warm up to it. It doesn't happen straight away. No matter who you are, no matter what background you come from, you can't just walk into Twitch and just start going for 12-hour streams. I still haven't done anything close to a 12-hour stream. I'm not doing a 12-hour stream or a 24-hour stream until we get that purple tick. When we get the purple tick, I will 100% do a 24-hour stream, but I won't do it before because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for analytics. It doesn't make sense for my audience. No one wants to be there for that whole time in my current audience, but if you've got an audience that can be there at different times of the day and roll over each other, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I think that the length of time is super important as the days that you schedule and having a schedule itself as well. I think that there's real synergy. And for me, like I said, perfect amount would be like 4 days a week for a new starter and 3 hours maximum a stream. Like that would be, for me, the soft spot.
I think that's good.
It just doesn't make sense to do more.
I never go past like 3 or 4 hours. I usually try to stick about 3. Like with what I used to do, with dressing up, I used to dress up as a character, a superhero character on stream, and I could not go past 3 hours for that. There was so much prep time and getting ready for it and dressing down afterwards. But just the stupid amount of energy that you try and put into that 3 hours to entertain people, like I couldn't imagine going definitely no longer than like 4 hours, but imagine trying to do that for 12 hours or 24 hours. Like people come in on hour 12 and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Yay, let's go.
Yeah.
It's just not the type of content that I set out to make, so I would never make it. I don't know if I'll ever do like 12-hour streams. Like I think 3 or 4 hours max. Get in, get out, done.
get out.
But like, in terms of like how many hours you got to put into it, like imagine if we just had like someone had like a show like this that was engaging and was providing value to an audience. You could do an hour a week if that's all you've got. If you put it into something like a show like this, into something like that's entertaining, and it becomes like every Monday night at 8 o'clock for an hour, I've got to watch that show, like, and so you can still build a community with 1 hour if you've got an idea for it. And
they're actually absolutely correct, because you think about when you were younger, television shows that you would watch once a week, every week, you'd never miss them. Like it's the same principle, except you can talk to the person who's streaming. You can talk to the television show. You got to build that anticipation. That's really important too. Like it really, really is. And I think that makes a big difference, really, is that if you're streaming every day for 11,000 hours every day, like no one's going to want to watch it in the end because they're seeing the same thing. I even stress about 5 days a week. I stress about 5 days a week being too much, because it's like some days you'll have a big day, some days you'll have a really, really bad day, and you're like, is it because I'm streaming too much now? Is that the problem? It's hard to kind of weather that storm.
All right, I think, is it time for the big announcement? I think there's no more questions left. And we've gone over an hour now, so...
We have gone over, yep.
So, guys, it was all the shippy rants. It was quality stuff. No, it's good stuff. I love it. Get around it. I reckon it's time for the big announcement, guys. I don't know, can we build anticipation here?
I don't know. Where is it? I don't have anything in anticipation building. This is not good. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, we've lost him. We've lost him.
It's okay. I'm here.
Okay. Thank God. Thank God for that. There we go. Drum roll. Okay, so the big announcement is that Shippy is going to be joining Goa on a more permanent basis. Not only are you going to get him on Friday nights in the Streamaholics podcast, he's also going to be doing Tuesdays as part of the Goa stream team.
That's kind of cool.
So how excited are you about that?
I'm really, really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun to share my community and all the stuff that we do with a new audience as well, by, you know, having go. And it'll be a different time of the day as well, which is going to be very different for a lot of my audience as well. But it'll be really interesting to see how it goes to do what I do during the day. And to kind of bring a different kind of content to go to see what they think of it as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, so this Tuesday, guys, Tuesday 10 a.m.
Yes,
it's 10 a.m. We're going to go for Shippy on Goa.
Yes.
So yeah, day streams on Goa. I'm really looking forward. I'm excited to be working with you on more of a permanent basis and getting around it. So it's going to be really good stuff.
I'm looking forward to it a great deal. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, it might be a bit weird every now and again. I don't know anything that would make it weird personally, but it might be a bit weird every now and again. It might not. It might just be nornormal. Who knows at this point? We'll just have to wait and see.
I'll strangely I've lost all my words now. I was going to say I was strangely more comfortable when you switched that scene on.
Yes.
But no, that's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I think, yeah, definitely get around it if you're around 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. This Tuesday especially, get in there with the first one, and yeah, see what Shippy's all about. If you're from Goa and you haven't seen Shippy perform before, this is a perfect opportunity. But on a side note too, I guess where can we find you, Shippy? Where can everyone else find you? What's your give all your things a shout out right now too, to everyone in the chat too.
So you can find me pretty much everywhere at the Warship. Predominantly, in fact, I have a thing for this. You know, you can find me at YouTube at youtube.com/the Warship. You can find me on TikTok as well if you like shorter form content at the Warship.
Nice.
And you know, if you just like to listen or just like to read more than anything else, you can find me on Twitter. Unfortunately, that is _Warship because I can't get the Warship on there. But that is what it is. And obviously, most important of all would be twitch.tv/the Warship. That's going to be the real place that I really want to engage with. I don't have a button for that because I'm usually on Twitter. I was on Twitch at the time. Yeah. But yeah, you can find me at any of these places pretty easily.
I like that. That's very, very clever. I'm going to have to get something like that. So, myself, so everyone go follow. Make sure you're following Shippy everywhere. Myself, I'm everywhere at Lukey Bangerz, the same as it's written down here. So you can just search that up everywhere. But you'll mostly find me on Friday nights on Goa. So I've had fun tonight, Shippy. This has been good.
Yeah, it's been real good.
We've gone a little bit over. We'll try and keep it to an hour normally, but this is just a feeling out process tonight. We've not had one before, so we know maybe just one topic less we would have been right.
Maybe one less rant.
One less rant. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks for all the follows and the tips and everything that's been going on tonight. It's been really good. Seeing it be very active in chat. It's been great. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for thank you so much for joining us today. We don't have a sign off or anything like that.
No, I didn't do the intro. What an idiot! I was going to go. So my intro from now on, guys, is going to hold me to it. Is hi, I'm Lukey, and I'm a Streamaholic. Good. Sitting around the table, I love it. Yeah, that's right. So we're all here to support each other.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Shippy. Everyone, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to have a short break, but I'll be back with some games coming up soon. And other than that, we'll see you next Friday for Streamaholics. But don't forget to catch Shippy either on his channel or on Goa on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.